PSCs. But these are done by the Personnel Management Office when they hire that consultant. These roles were clear. But traditionally, we know that Cabinet Secretary or SC is responsible for cabinet matters.
Is there a document that spells out these roles? The consultant?
It should be available at PMO, Personnel Management Office, now under the Ministry of Public Service. You can get all the job description, job evaluation. It should be ready by now.
Sure. Honorable Chair, I would ask that the requisite orders be made subsequently. So, you had a general briefing about your job, but of course you are not a stranger to the role. You are coming from within. It was merely a promotion. So you were very well acquainted with the general responsibilities that you ought to assume. Correct?
Yes.
And once you assumed your office, I'm sure you briefed yourself of the current issues that you will be saddled with.
Let me also help you. In the Gambia here, Cabinet Office is very small. You have, then when I became Secretary to Cabinet in 2017, I was the only administrative staff. Then together with one secretary and one record officer. When you go to other countries, you have a big secretariat for Cabinet. Until 2018, when I request from the Secretary General for manpower budget to consider having deputy for me, because even overseas trip, when you travel, then there cannot be any cabinet, because cabinet, you don't just take any permanent secretary to go and take minutes. It has to be cabinet secretary. So in the absence of cabinet secretary, I realized that there will be no cabinet. So I requested for extra manpower. That was 2018. When they approved and then appointed deputy secretary to the cabinet to support the cabinet secretary. But even that, it is still small. We are only two. And then we initiated to have paper review committee that I have stated earlier, that we are not all rounder in all these subject matters. So we need to have a paper review committee of 16 permanent secretaries who will help us, like I stated before break, to help us look at the papers that are submitted for policy implications, for legal implications, or for any financial implications. And also, together with the Tony Blair Institute, or TBI, they help us to reduce the size or the volumes of cabinet papers, so that as they submit from ministries, we can consider it as a raw one. So this committee, paper review committee, will help to reduce the size and also keep the relevant information that is required for cabinet delivery to take, quicker decisions, rather to be having a larger volume of cabinet papers, and you don't even see the substantial, information until at the end.
So when you assumed office, there were 3 personnel.
Yes,
inclusive of yourself, secretary, and record
officer.
So the secretary to cabinet also had a secretary. The secretary has a secretary.
That kept the secretariat of the cabinet. Yes.
I see. And upon assumption of office, did you, since there was no particular briefing on the Janneh Commission, I'm sure you did take it upon yourself to read some of the files, because these are issues that were coming up in cabinet at the time, correct?
No, it come until at a time when they do the final report. When they submitted the report to the president, the whole commissioner and the IKEA will come and do the presentation to the president.
So before submission of the final report,
before that, the Minister of Justice will do cabinet papers. Yes, but to have those reports that I have submitted came after their submission.
So the cabinet papers were on issues touching on the Janneh Commission.
On the commission.
Please elaborate. What kind of issues were there? If at any point you feel as if your answer will delve into a realm that is
no, this is
confidential.
already, no, it's already in the records.
Okay, so expound on it as much as possible.
No, it's about the sales of the tractors, the auctioning of tractors. That was a paper developed, and then we've done the conclusion. Some ministers, like I say, you don't mention individual minister. It's a collective responsibility. Do raise their concerns about the sales of tractors, whether it should be given to farmers or to be maintained for other purposes. And some also suggested that why not give in to the tertiary or higher education for their agricultural purposes, such as Gambia College or University of the Gambia. Yes.
So aside from the issue of the tractor sales, were there any other issues pertaining to the Janneh Commission that Cabinet would perhaps be saddled with?
No, from the collections, this is what I can remember.
And the Cabinet papers, the issue was raised through a Cabinet paper.
That's why
MOJ.
Yeah, that's why you have the conclusion.
Yes,
and the CP.
Okay. So what did the Cabinet paper seek to do in general terms?
The Cabinet paper will indicate general outline of what the sector intend Cabinet to give approval. Okay, you have the preamble, the background, you have the implications, like I mentioned, whether it's financial, legal, or policy. Then you'll have at the conclusion of Cabinet paper prayers. These are some key salient points that you as minister and your team, you are now seeking from Cabinet, your colleagues, to give approval to the paper. That's what we call the prayer section.
Okay, so if I put it in simple terms, Cabinet paper is like an application to Cabinet, and you want to seek Cabinet's buy-in.
Approval. Yes.
All right, and if there is no approval, that means there can be no implementation.
No, there are levels. You have outright approval or approve in principle, meaning you still need to do more work and come back to the next Cabinet. Your colleagues might flag some of the points. So that is why we'll approve in principle or not totally approve. These are the three stages. Approve outright based on your prayers is very convincing, or approve in principle, meaning work in progress, you need to beef up some of the points, or sometimes it's not approved.
So in the case of, you have only mentioned one case that perhaps Cabinet had to deliberate over the Janneh Commission, or issues surrounding the Janneh Commission. In that particular case, just briefly, nothing too major. We will talk about that incident tomorrow. But in that particular case, when the Ministry of Justice proposed the Cabinet paper, or laid the Cabinet paper, was it approved, or approved in principle, or was it not approved?
It was approved. That is why we have the conclusion. Okay. Because the chief legal advisor to the government is the one that is presenting the paper. That's the Minister of Justice and Attorney General.
So it was approved?
Yes. That's why you have the conclusion.
Okay. So if it were not approved, then the activity would not go on.
No, that is why I mentioned 3 points. That is, it is approved or approved in principle. That meaning the sector minister is advised to incorporate some of the comments from the floor of the Cabinet. Before next Cabinet, you can work it out with your team and present the paper again. Just like bills coming to Cabinet, like the National Youth Policy and all those other policies, the NANA policy, you present it, and then that was presented by the former Vice President, Dr. Satu Ture. We advise that you adjust some of the points on NANA policy, because next stage is to bring it to National Assembly. So before National Assembly, all those points will be dealt with at Cabinet level.
Right. So, but that is what you have explained is in the instance of approved in principle.
Yes.
Correct.
In case there are some bottlenecks,
Yes.
people are not comfortable of certain submissions.
Certain issues, yes.
They advise you to make some adjustment with your team.
Of course.
You are given the paper to go back, and we can give you a week or 2 weeks to consult some of the cross-cutting points, Like you have some ministries that are cross-cutting ministries, like Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, that maybe they have not done wide consultation on mainstreaming gender into civil service.
Correct.
So we'll advise you on that.
So that is for not approved. Sorry, approved in principle. When it's not approved, then that means the business has been shut out.
And we need to go back to the team and then look at where are the major shortfalls and how you can do the paper again and bring it back.
So when it's not approved, it doesn't mean that you're closed. Or
No, you still
can always come back.
Yeah, you can still come back, work with the team, improve on the comments. It's not just outright disapprove.
Okay.
They'll make comments, but there are points when it will not be approved in principle. When approved in principle, you have some points to do makeups.
So the approvals, whether it's the outright approval in principle or not approved, is it always done by cabinet collectively, or can an individual make that decision?
Mr. Counsel, I made that submission earlier this morning.
I want you to take it again.
Yes, I will always reorient you.
Please do.
That is, cabinet decisions are collective decisions. It's not an individual.
So is there any instance where it's an individual?
It cannot be individual.
So it's always collective.
I urge you to take the revised cabinet manual of 2022 to familiarize yourself. It is going to be important for this assignment.
Honorable Chair, on the advice of the witness, I would ask that those
from the current Secretary to Cabinet to see the manual.
Mr. Ceesay, I'm in the middle of my application, Chair. Okay. All right. Thank you for your help.
Okay.
Honorable Chair, we would like to make those orders subsequently.
Okay.
Sorry?
Revised edition of 2022. Yes, Cabinet Manual, October 2022.
Thank you.
We did that one together with the Tony Blair Institute, TBI.
Thank you.
Yes.
So the cabinet papers, you had been clear to say that they come from ministries. Now, I observe that Office of the President has a permanent secretary, and my layman knowledge of permanent secretaries is that they're administrators for ministries. So do cabinet papers emanate from OP?
No way.
Can they?
No, what if we have any issue to do with civil service? What used to happen is we'll work with the Personnel Management Office. There's the permanent secretary. Secretary General can engage that one, and then the Personnel Management Office will do the CP and then give it to the Vice President. Then there was no ministry like Public Service. So civil service matters were presented in the cabinet by the Vice President. Just like the case of gender now. Before there was no ministry like gender, it was at the Office of Vice President and Women's Affairs then.
That's fine. Let's proceed. That has been taken. So you assumed office in 2017, December of 2017, and as you stated, you briefly briefed yourself. It was not, you were not briefed by anybody. You briefed yourself of what was going on and what saddled your position at the time. I would like you to elaborate and explain your understanding of how the commission came into being, what the rationale was in cabinet giving birth to the commission, and generally issues around its establishment. We have noted that you were not in that position at that very time. And this is where we are tapping from what you know. Please.
Yeah, my understanding, Mr. Council, of this TGAs, what we call TGAs, transitional justice systems, were issues that come from the executive branch of the government, and then it come into being through the act of the National Assembly. So, like Janneh Commission, the CRC, Constitutional Review Commission, that time I was in office, and the TRRC, and that of the National Human Rights Commission, all that I was in office. But the Janneh Commission, like any other transitional justice systems or the TGAs, my understanding is that the chief technician on legal matters to the government, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, will advise the President on the formation of such commissions.
Aside from that, do you know anything about the formation?
No idea.
Would you be surprised to know that, in fact, the Janneh Commission was not set up by an act of the National Assembly?
As I know, most of the TGAs are act of parliament.
Yes, indeed. Most of the other ones are established through an act of
For Janneh Commission, it would have been at the beginning of the administration and things were not settled. That must have been the case.
Do you want to explain that more?
I have no further idea on that. If it was not an act of National Assembly, then that's it.
What you said, things were not settled. Perhaps you can...
It's just the beginning of the administration, because there was not even handing over. We were inside. All the permanent secretaries, ministries, departments, and agencies, there was no proper handing over. So,
handing over to who?
From the previous administration to the incoming administration. There was no handing over.
So, okay, just to, before I ask the question, it was established by the President, with advice of the Attorney General.
Chief Technician of Legal Matters for the government.
Yes, and it was established through a legal notice,
yes,
not an act of Parliament. However, please elaborate more on your understanding of what, since you had the benefit of being in office when other commissions were established, elaborate on your understanding of how a commission should be established, how it should operate, and please align your thinking with your position at the time so that we know the mind of cabinet at the time.
What I can do about that one is very straightforward. My role as SC, I'll only receive list of selected commissioners from the Ministry of Justice, and the Legal Secretary, Solicitor General and Legal Secretary will advise me what section of the law they are going to take the oaths. They will guide the entire process. They will guide the Cabinet Office on the entire process. So what we do is to administer the oaths to them, like the CRC, the TRRC, the National Human Rights Commission. Our role, we are not involved in the preparatory stages. All this is done at the Ministry of Justice. Then they will transfer the documents to us. These are the names of commissioners, and then these are the prescribed oaths for them. That is what we then President, I will now consult the President based on the letter from MOJ. I will now take that one to the President and discuss with him when we can have this swearing ceremony for the members of the CRC, the Human Rights Commission, or the TRRC.
So let me understand something here. The suggestion or the appointment comes from MOJ.
MOJ will suggest, and then Presidency give the approval.
Confirm. Is there a cabinet meeting organized for that?
No, it's not organized to that.
So that's one of the few times that the President can just make a decision on his own.
Based on advice from his chief technician on the matter.
What about the workings of commissions? What was your understanding of?
I have no idea. I just see it on the screen like this. I've never been to their hearings or whatever. I just see on the screen when I have time.
So when commissions are being set up, they are never discussed in cabinet?
No, when the need arises, the Minister of Justice will give updates. But that has not been the case unless there is cabinet paper.
So what about once the commission is set up, are there any updates that the minister gives regarding the commission? For example, the commission wants to extend the time it's been given, the mandate it's been given.
That one,
does that come to cabinet?
The minister will discuss with the president.
The minister will discuss with the president.
Yes.
And then?
That's my knowledge about it. But the minister himself, I think, will come here, can shed more light on that one. That's not my area.
With all due respect, Mr. Ceesay, the question was put to you. If you do not know, please, you can specify that you don't know.
Then that one, I have limited idea only. That's why.
That's fine.
Yes,
I can appreciate that.
Thank you.
So how did you perceive the commission's independence and its mandate?
Since 2017, everybody knows that there's clear cut, there's separation of powers, judiciary, executive, and the legislature. So these commissions are independent, as far as my understanding is there. And then nobody is giving them any other thing to force them to do certain things that I'm not aware. Yes.
So you're not aware of them being forced to do?
I see them as very independent, whatever they are doing.
You see them as,
Yes.
That is commissions of inquiry?
At distance, because I'm not at MOG, I'm at the OP.
So from your view at OP,
yes,
you see them as independent?
Yes. That's the report I always, verbally I hear from people, commendations about their work. And I have not had any adverse thing against any commissioner members.
Okay, the question is your perception of the mandate and independence of the commission. And when I say your perception, I mean you, Mr. Ebrima Ceesay, at the time that you were Secretary to Cabinet. What was your perception of the independence and mandate of the commission?
They are free to do what they are assigned to do within their limits of their TOR. That's my perception about it.
And could an institution like the Ministry of Justice suggest to them that this is the desired outcome of the government?
That is why I mentioned I don't have daily contacts with them. At the MOG level, the Solicitor General and Legal Secretary can respond to those ones.
So from your view, from OP?
From OP, I don't hear anything of such.
Okay, my question is, from OP,
yes,
the way you perceive the Commission of Inquiry, when you interact with them, do you see that there can be influence, direction, or suggestions from either MOJ or OP as to a course of action?
Let me help you. I do not interact with the commissioners. After swearing, I don't have any issue to do with them. That is earlier submission that I'm not involved in execution. That is for the ministries and agencies. So if I am interacting with them, then I'm not saying the right thing when I say I'm not involved in operational matters. I have nothing to do with commissioners.
Okay. Now let's tailor it. Let's narrow it down to the Janneh Commission.
Okay.
With regards to the Janneh Commission, how did you perceive their independence and mandate?
That is what I just mentioned earlier. From the public hearing like this, my perception on them is very good. Yes.
I'm sure you would commend them like I would. However, my question is in relation to you as Secretary to Cabinet. Let me learn so that you can know where I'm driving at. when you were secretary to cabinet, how did you see the independence of the Janneh Commission? Were you of the view that cabinet or MOJ or the Ministry of Finance could suggest to them that, okay, we need this course of action, this is what we want you to do? Or did you see them as a body that nobody should suggest anything to, that it would be a taboo to suggest to them that this is the course of action that we want? Please comment on that.
Mr. Diba, this is what I made clear to you, that from my viewpoint, I made it clear that I do not have any daily interaction with them. And as others view them, I see them independent and very impartial commission. Yes, that's my submission.
So you saw them as independent?
Very independent.
All right.
Yes.
Did you have any interactions with the Janneh Commission?
Never. I never.
You never had any interactions with the Janneh Commission?
No way.
So what about, so you never had interaction with any of the commissioners?
I'm not involved in the operational matters.
Yes or no? Did you have any interaction with any of the commissioners?
No.
Did you have any interaction with any of the commissioners?
No commission that I had.
Did you have any interaction with any of the councils, the lead council or any other council in her team?
No.
Did you have any interaction with the secretariat, secretary or any other member in his ranks?
Yes, that is the former secretary to the Janneh Commission when I was instructed by the then Secretary General. And that submission is already part of my documents.
It is?
Yes.
Yes, but you just mentioned that you never had any interaction with the commission.
You are mentioning in stages. I say commissioners.
The reason why I mentioned in stages,
you come to
the reason why I started breaking them down is because initially you said you never had any interaction with the commission.
I'm qualifying the stages for you incrementally. That's what I'm doing for you.
You're doing it for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Continue. You said, from the commissioners, I said no. To the councils, lead councils, no. To the secretariat, the case of ES, executive secretary, that's only Janneh Commission. After that, I have no other issue with secretariat.
Okay, so
yes.
Let me ask, when I say commission, the Janneh Commission, what comes to mind? Is it only the commissioners that comes to mind, or the whole institution?
Unless you qualify your submission to me.
You don't understand the question.
No, you were putting it into stanzas, into phases. So you have to clarify what you want. You know, my appearance here is to aid this fact finding.
It is.
So, yes, so I'm available to you.
So, Mr. Ceesay, the fact is, and we are on 4K cameras, the fact is that I asked the question. My question was, did you have any interaction with the commission? You said no. You were, let me land.
Yes.
You said no. And that is when, out of frustration, I decided to break it down to commissioners, the councils, to secretariat. And then you came to say, indeed.
For the executive secretary.
Yes, you had an interaction with the
directives of the then SG. I made mention of that.
That is in your statement?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So you did have an interaction with the commission?
Based on directives of the SG to deliver a message.
We will get to that.
Okay.
What I want to establish here is that you had an interaction with the commission.
But not all the commissions that you mentioned.
Which commissions did I mention?
We had several commissions in place. From Janneh Commission, CRC, TRRC, National Human Rights Commission. All these are in place.
Mr. Ceesay, you know what the word evasive is?
I know.
I believe you're being evasive.
No, this is...
I have not mentioned any other commission. Yes, I've asked you to deliberate on commissions in general, but I in fact have not mentioned any name of any other commission. And before asking you the question, I in fact told you, let's narrow it down to the Janneh Commission. Isn't that the case?
Okay, let's proceed.
No, we are not proceeding. Wasn't that the case?
Yes.
That was the case. So your testimony is a bit strange to me. It's a bit dubious.
Yeah.
You want to mix words. Your testimony was that you did not have an interaction with the commission, which is in fact conflicting with your statement that you provided. Yes, you have tidied it up, and I will take your answer. But as we are on record, I would like the record to reflect. We are all human, we all make mistakes, and I'll take your mistake. But if you want to mask your mistake and say it was not a mistake, we will put you to task. So yes, we are going to move on, but I need that to be driven home.
Okay.
Yes, so you had an interaction with the commission.
Yes.
Thank you. Did you ever participate in any way in inventory taking, assessing of assets, preparing sales, interacting with buyers, summoning buyers, in any way with regards to the Janneh Commission?
No.
You did not?
No.
And you maintain that your only role, the only time you interacted with the commission,
message to the then ES, that's the Executive Secretary.
You did not write any correspondences to the commission?
As directed by SG, he was calling, no response. Then he asked me to meet the person.
Did you write any correspondences to the commission aside from that incident?
I'm not aware of that.
You're not aware of any?
Maybe that is a level of SG.
So that's what you maintain?
Yes.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, I believe if I am to ask my next question, it will delve into the next issue, which I would want to leave for tomorrow. If the committee has clarifications on what we have done today, perhaps the chair can steer that. But if not, I would ask that we adjourn the meeting today and come back tomorrow.
All right, Council, thank you so very much. I think what we'll do is we'll have to adjourn since we are getting the witness again tomorrow. Clarifications will come from when the testimony is done. So we can adjourn for today and resume tomorrow. Ambassador?
What time tomorrow?
Tomorrow,
I have a ceremony to attend in the morning.
In the morning?
Police headquarters.
On the summon was 11 o'clock, huh?
11.
11, we are starting at 11.
This one is starting at 9:30.
9:30. So you'll make it at 11 o'clock.
I can forget that I come back.
Yes, you will help us to come back because this one is important. We wanted to get everything done. Yes.
Considering we have our own internal briefings and whatnot, we can start at 12 tomorrow.
12, huh?
Yes.
At 12 o'clock?
If the chair is...
I can start from police, then by 11:30 I'll be here.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Then we will start with our briefing. Then we can start
by midday.
At 12 o'clock, midday.
Okay.
So you can be here at least 11:30 or
half an hour
before we start. Yes, that's fine. Council, thank you so very much. We will have to adjourn for today, and we will appear again tomorrow, 22nd of August 2025.
So 24th.
The 21st, sorry. 21st of August 2025. I'm in a hurry. Thank you. Meeting adjourned till tomorrow. Thank you.